Hi, boys and girls. So we zipped right through Module 14. Today we are jumping into Module 15, which is actually two-dimensional shapes. And we are going to do Lesson 1 today. I can use defining features to sort and identify two-dimensional shapes. So you don't have these cards that we would be using if we were at school. So we are going to kind of skip this this page as far as the work to do at the bottom. But I want to talk to you about this I can statement a little bit. I can use defining features. So defining features would be the number of sides, the number of vertices, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, whether it's an open shape or a closed shape. So for example, this hexagon is a closed shape because if you were to build a fence like that and you put an animal inside, it would be closed. They would not be able to get out. If you build a fence like this one, that is an open shape. There's an opening there. If you were to put an animal inside there, they would be able to come out of that open gate per se. So you could use words like color words, like you could talk about black shapes or gray shapes or white shapes, but all of those are defining features that help us sort shapes. So let's move on because I'm going to go fairly quickly today since we have 2 lessons to get through. Build understanding. Mary decorates cards with these shapes. So she uses these shapes when she's making cards. I love making cards. But she wants to make a card with only squares or rectangles. The directions say to draw the shapes that Mary could use. I'm going to switch it up a little bit and let you just draw a line from the shapes that she could use. So she can use rectangles, squares, or rectangles. So go through all of these shapes. Cross out the shapes. This is a circle. She can't use that. Cross out the shapes she can't use and draw a line moving the ones that she can use down into this box instead of drawing them. Here are the 2 important vocabulary words that I want you to know for today's lesson. One is side. That's a pretty easy one. We talk about sides of things all the time. So that's the side. The tricky one, though, is the word vertex, and that's one I want you to practice a little bit. I remember the word vertex because it starts with a V, and it looks kind of like a corner where the 2 sides come together. So whenever sides meet, that point is called a vertex. And sometimes it's a very pointy like this one. Sometimes it's not as pointy like this one. So those are vertices. So if I look at how many sides does a rectangle have, that's what our question over here says for B. I'm going to hold up a rectangle for you. You would count the sides. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sides on a rectangle. So if I'm answering this part of my book, there are 4 sides on a rectangle. Started kind of low. If I count the vertices on a rectangle, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices on a rectangle as well. Vertices is how you say vertex. You don't say vertexes, you say vertices. So a vertex is 1, vertices are more than 1. Let's do the same thing now with how many sides and vertices does a square have. So here's a square, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, and 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. So 4 sides and 4 vertices. So if I talk quickly about how at the bottom, the turn and talk, how are a rectangle and a square the same and how are they different? Well, we just talked about that they both have 4 sides. They both have 4 vertices. They both have flat sides, not curved sides. And how are they different? They are different because a square has to have all 4 sides the same, and a rectangle can have 2 different lengths of sides. Here are some more shapes, and I know that these are review. I know that you've talked about these in kindergarten. We talked about these early in the school year. Arthur is sorting shapes into groups. One group has closed shapes with only 3 sides. The other group has closed shapes that are curved. So draw some shapes for each group. So if I take my pen, 3 sides that are closed, that would be a triangle. And triangles All the sides don't have to be the same length. They can be any way you want. That's a triangle. You could have a super tall, skinny triangle. Your lines will be straighter than mine. It's hard to draw on my computer, but that's a triangle. So as long as it has 3 sides that are closed, it's a triangle. It says draw some shapes, so I want you to draw at least 2 or 3 triangles in this box. Curved and closed in our case would be circles. So draw a couple of different circles. Write the names of the shapes with 3 sides, and that would be triangles. So you would write the word triangles across here. Then we have some riddles at the bottom. Read the problem. I am a closed shape that is curved. What am I? Well, we did that up here. Closed shape that is curved would be a circle. I am a closed shape with 4 straight sides of equal, and we know equal means the same as. So with equal length, what would I be? What shape has 4 straight sides with equal that are equal? A square. Marcy cuts paper into shapes that have 4 sides and 4 vertices. Draw some shapes that she could make. Now, there are a lot. If they have 4 sides and 4 vertices, and I gave you that green paper that you could cut those shapes out, so you have some ideas on there, but this is a trapezoid. It has 4 straight sides and 4 vertices, so you could draw one of those for number 3. You obviously could draw a square. You could draw a rhombus, either a skinny rhombus or the fatter rhombus. 4 sides and 4 vertices. So there are a lot of choices for shapes with 4 sides and 4 vertices. You could also draw a parallelogram if you know what that is, or your parents could help you if they know what that is. Number 4, use repeated reasoning. These shapes are sorted into one group, right? And describe how the shapes are sorted. So there are a lot of things that are the same about all of these shapes. All of those shapes have 3 sides. All of those shapes have 3 vertices. All of those shapes have flat sides. All of those shapes are triangles. So right there are 4 different things that they all have in common. This is an interesting one. You can stop and talk to somebody at home about that one. Lesson 2. I'm going to go pretty quickly through this one. Describe and draw 2-dimensional shapes. I can use defining features to build and draw 2-dimensional shapes. So the 2-dimensional shapes are the ones we talked about yesterday. I've got a bag of them, all the ones we sorted. So in this on this page at the bottom, I want you to take a couple of shapes that you find at your house. It could be a glue stick, which would be a cylinder. It could be a little box or a little book. And I want you to trace some of the surfaces. So this is a surface. Lay it down on your paper and gently trace it into your math book. So if I use like my glue stick or a cylinder, when I set that flat surface down and I trace it, it's going to be a circle, right? I can't trace the curved surfaces very well. So just the flat surfaces. And I could do the same thing with the box. Karen uses pencils to build shapes that have straight sides. So I'm going to draw a couple. So you can't draw a circle, can you? She couldn't make a circle, but she could make a triangle. She could make a trapezoid. She could make a hexagon. She could make a square, a rectangle, any of those shapes. How many sides and vertices does a hexagon have? So again, let's count some of them. So here is a hexagon, or you're used to using these hexagons. So let's use this one. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vertices. Yeah, that was a little hard to see. 6 sides, and 6 vertices. Are you noticing anything about the number of sides and the number of vertices? I am. See if it holds true for our trapezoid. All right, here's my trapezoid. I'm going to count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you've got some trapezoids on that green paper, so you can count them as well. 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. Seems to me that the number of sides and vertices are always the same. I wonder if that's always true. Check some of the shapes that are near you and see if that is always true. These are some cool riddles. Abby describes 3 shapes. Draw and label the shapes. So A, a closed shape with 4 sides of the same length. So she's drawing a square. Or she could draw a rhombus, right? This also has 4 sides that are the same length. I'm going to make a square for mine though, and I'm going to label it A. For part B, a closed shape with 3 sides and 3 vertices. So she would be drawing a triangle, right? It doesn't have to look exactly like this, but she would have to draw a triangle. A closed shape with 6 sides and 6 vertices, so we know that would be our hexagon. The bottom of the page. A magnet on the door is shaped like a trapezoid. Draw the shape of the magnet. So draw a trapezoid right there. Circle the shape that has 6 sides and 6 vertices. On your own, Melissa draws a curved shape to make a flower. What shape does she draw? And then construct arguments. Explain how to draw a triangle. You know now. How do you draw a triangle? If you were talking to a preschooler about how to draw a triangle, what would you tell them? What do they need to have in order for it to be a whole triangle? Draw a hexagon, draw a rectangle. If you want to, you can cut out the shapes I sent home with you and you can trace those. All right, we are done for today. Have a great afternoon, and I will chat with you soon.